So good morning or good afternoon. My name is Laurent Montaron. I'm with IBM's hardware division. Specifically, I work in offering management for enterprise Linux workloads. And today I'm very pleased to share some exciting news regarding what we have to offer for SAS solutions in general and SAS Viya in particular. So let's get into it. So I'd like to share with you some of our offerings. Before we get into that, I'd like to say I have 27 years of experience, and I spent 20 of those in IBM. And my specialty has always been to work on the most demanding workloads, mission-critical workload with very high expectations of performance and reliability. And that's why I was really pleased when IBM asked me to focus 100% on SAS and help bring our client to the new SAS Viya platform, because I think this is one of the most interesting evolution in the history of analytics. I'd like to start with a few words about ModelOps, and hopefully all of you by now are familiar with ModelOps, inspired from DevOps, and how SAS Viya enables the deployment of a very successful and easy to use ModelOps. What's absolutely demanding on the infrastructure is the unpredictable nature of having hundreds, potentially more, of models being created, registered, deployed, retrained, and that tends to create quite a lot of demand on the infrastructure, the unpredictability, and a lot of data gets moved around. Even though SAS Viya is an in-memory platform, it often works with other workloads like traditional SAS 9.4 data sources, and we can move potentially tens of gigabytes per second on the same platform while all those models are being deployed and run on the data. So the demands on the infrastructure are actually increasing with the introduction of the notion of ModelOps. And SAS can be unforgiving if the sizing of your infrastructure platform hasn't been performed successfully, or if you don't have enough flexibility and reliability. So I think the key here is the infrastructure matters a lot. And with the introduction of modern analytics and the ModelOps, it actually matters even more. And that's why we decided to look at enterprise platform to deploy some of those workloads. So IBM and SAS partnered to deploy on Power systems. And you can deploy on IBM storage or third-party storage. Obviously, deploying everything on IBM will continue to reduce the risk. What we claim is that combination is going to give our clients a lot of agility. It's going to reduce risk by increasing reliability, and extremely important for SAS workloads, we're going to help eliminate all the bottlenecks that are extremely common in the life cycle of modern analytics. So what does it look like? Agility. The number one concern for a head of analytics is often time to insight. And time to insight requires a lot of things to work well together. You need to have highly reliable systems. You need to have high performance system, and it has to be an end-to-end. But it also requires flexibility, because with ModelOps, many different models deployed at the same time, many different jobs potentially running, and to better utilize the infrastructure, you need to have that flexibility. We in IBM would deliver that flexibility through advanced virtualization. Contrary to commodity hardware based on Intel processors, on which you would typically need to purchase third-party virtualization like VMware or install KVM virtualization, we in IBM have built-in virtualization in our high-end servers themselves, and it's entirely implemented in hardware. That gives us very, very fine-grained virtualization that is highly resilient. It is typical for a client to be running on the same system at 70, 80, 90% or more utilization with hundreds of partitions sharing the same CPUs. And those partitions could be analytics, like SAS and SAS Viya, could be mission-critical databases, could be ERP data sources, all of them sharing the same hardware and harmony, which theoretically you could also do on VMware and Intel systems, but not with the same granularity and not with the same lack of overhead, which is a signature of IBM Power Systems. In addition, still on the topic of virtualization, our hypervisor, which is called Power VM, and again is entirely in hardware, has zero reported security vulnerabilities, which is extremely important, especially if you happen to be in a regulated industry where security is a key topic. That flexibility gives the IT team the ability to deploy faster. It simplifies the management of resources, and it makes it absolutely trivial to collocate mission-critical workloads on the same system without having to worry about the overhead that third-party software virtualization would bring to the platform. We reduce risk in several ways. First, reliability. If you want to have a good idea of the reliability of a server, I highly recommend to look at a study by ITIC. Twice a year, they call on clients, large clients for the Fortune 500 and others, and they conduct that global reliability survey. And it's a very important data point to look at the actual uptime and the amount of unplanned downtime that you can expect from a particular brand of server. We have been ranked #1 in reliability for the past 11 years. And that's for power systems. And our storage solution provides 99.9999% availability and 100% if we double the storage with our hyperswap function. So this is a very important factor because the unplanned downtime has a significant cost, and it can be particularly bad for analytics. When you have long-running jobs, you cannot afford those jobs to crash and have to restart them. Time to insight requires predictability and eliminating unplanned downtime as much as possible. And finally, and equally important for SaaS solutions, is the ability to move data around. And the way it is achieved on Power Systems is through performance enhancement end-to-end. We have better I/O bandwidth, we have better memory bandwidth, we have a better CPU-GPU interconnect if you're running SAS workloads that actually use GPUs. And we are able to move tens of gigabytes per second. And if you look at typical SAS deployment, it is not unusual to have more than 100 megabytes per second per core in all the SAS workloads. And we can do much more than that. So this is a very important factor. Before we get into some of the lineup and specific hardware offerings that I think are a good fit for SAS, I wanted to say a few words about the partnership between IBM and SAS. So obviously, this is not a new partnership. We have been working together for more than 40 years. And we have very special relationships. For instance, the technology behind SAS Grid is actually an IBM product called Spectrum LSF. SAS, traditional SAS, current release SAS 9.4, has been available on power systems on Unix for quite a long time. And of course, what's new is that SAS and IBM in 2019 decided to partner to make SAS Viya available on Linux. So this is a Linux play. So why did we do this? And the answer could be in this video from Ken Gahagan, the director on R&D at SAS. And you will find a link to that video on this slide. It's on YouTube. At a very high level, with the latest generation of power processors that we have in our systems, SAS observed that we have this high throughput capability that other processors simply do not have. I really encourage you to listen to Ken. It's a 2-minute video which will explain more in detail why SAS decided to rekindle the partnership and take it to a new level with Vaya. So we've been working together since 1998, and that also contributes to the risk reduction. We have significant SAS expertise within IBM and strong relationship with many products. And that also helps accelerate deployments and reduce the risk on deployments. So let's look at some of the gear that we recommend for SAS workloads today in 2020. All the systems that you see here are running our latest and greatest processor, which is the Power 9 processors. All of these systems can run Linux. And when it comes to running SAS Viya, Red Hat Enterprise Linux is our choice. Obviously, Red Hat being an IBM company now. Those systems, many of them, can run other operating systems at the same time, like Unix or IBM i. We have decided that SAS Viya will be made available on the entire lineup. And that means, on the left-hand side, systems that are really designed for GPUs and accelerated workloads. So for instance, if you deploy modules from SAS Viya VDMML that requires GPUs, that would be probably the box you will choose. And then on the right-hand side, we have virtualized in hardware, scale-out and enterprise systems. Some models are tailored to run Linux. Some models are tailored to run Linux and alongside other operating systems, which can be extremely useful because in many cases, our clients will mix SAS 9.4 and SAS Viya in the same analytics environment and probably other mission-critical workloads. And you can run all of that on a single system or set of systems. On the storage side, we want to keep it simple. When it comes to SAS and SAS Viya, we systematically recommend going forward flash technology. And there's no longer a reason to go to spinning disks given the price points that we observe on the latest flash technology. And we also recommend NVMe as the protocol to bring the most performance on Linux. So we have integrated storage offerings with very attractive price points, from entry-level flash system 5000 to the highest high-end flash system 9200, all of them running the same firmware, all of them compatible with Red Hat Linux, Unix, and IBM I. So I'd like to say a few words about moving to Vaya for a client who's running SAS today, SAS 9 today, and potentially SAS Grid. We have decided that Vaya, when running on IBM, it's going to be on Linux, and specifically Red Hat Enterprise Linux. And we'll go to Red Hat OpenShift in the next release of Vaya to be able to use containers, Kubernetes containers. This is a modern approach, a completely open stack with open protocols on the latest processors with Red Hat Enterprise Linux. But for clients running SAS 9.4 today, we help reduce the risk and provide flexibility by letting you co-locate traditional SAS 9.4 and SAS Viya on the same platform. And Vaya will let you run traditional SAS code in its own runtime. So if you have millions of lines of code that you have been developing over 20 years, 30 years or more, using the proprietary SAS programming language, that code will be able to run on Vaya in the Vaya's pre-runtime. It will also be able to be scanned and start using automatically some of the more advanced Vaya features if that code is compatible or modified to run with the latest features. And that really simplifies the way forward for our clients, as many of our clients do not want to touch their infrastructure because they have a stable SAS environment and lots of legacy code. But with this approach, there's a clear way forward which lets our clients move code to the new Vaya environment at their own pace. And if something goes wrong for any reason, you can still run SAS 9.4 on the same machine. So you don't have to go back and forth between an old environment and a new environment. And there are a variety of data access capabilities built in both Vaya and traditional SAS. In fact, SAS Viya can use the connectivity within SAS 9.4 to get to the data, to external data sources. And you see here on the right-hand side at the bottom of the chart, some of the connectivity option. Vaya can access your data sources directly using data connectors. The Vaya's pre-runtime can access data sources directly using SAS Access. And of course, traditional SAS can access data sources using SAS Access as well. So there's really a complete harmony between the new Vaya environment and the traditional SAS 9.4 environment. And if you're running on IBM Power 9, you can co-locate all of this. And you can co-locate other mission-critical workloads at the same time. So finally, I would like to advertise this document, which is updated every quarter. It's available on the IBM website. It's called the IBM Power Systems for SAS Viya Deployment Guide. It will give you all the information available to make the right choices. Look at your deployment options. You can scale up, you can scale out, Many of our clients will do a little bit mix of both. All the tuning recommendations, the sizing consideration, installation tips, best practices, and a list of pointers to many resources available to you to reduce risk on your deployment. And again, it is updated every quarter. So we have a new update published in April 2020. And we have an update planned for this summer. So in conclusion, I hope that this presentation helped you understand why IBM and SAS decided to work together and make SAS Viya available on our enterprise Linux platform. I'm looking forward to helping you in your implementations. Thank you.